Good evening, welcome back to Greenox RC. I'm on a solo one tonight, just myself. A little bit of a nostalgic video tonight, a little bit of a trip down memory lane for those of you that grew up in the golden era of RC. Back in the late 80s, this was my very first hobby grade RC car. Got my Midnight Pumpkin in late 87, early 88. We had some fun with these old monster trucks. There was myself, my mate Daz Meister, he was seen on the channel a few times, and Polka. So I had the Midnight Pumpkin, Polka had the Mud Blaster, and Daz Meister had the Blackfoot. We had an absolute blast with these cars. We thrashed the living daylights out of them. We used to set up little tracks around the local playing field, tracks up the park, jumps. We sent a mud bob racing. We had hours and hours of entertainment out of these things. I still use this one to this day. Got the original body there still, the original Ford logo. Still got the original manual speed controller in. It's pretty much all original other than the shocks and the lower battery plate. So yeah, this was back in the late 80s. Now, obviously, we progressed on to other cars as time went on. I got the Porsche 959, my mate Daz got the Terra Sculpture, Polka got the Manta Ray, and we continued the hobby well into the 90s. So anyway, I lost contact with Polka for a good 20 or so years, and he recently hooked back up. I met up with him after, well, like I say, at least 20 years of not seeing him or any contact at all with him. And we got chatting the other month. He come over for the afternoon with his son. And yeah, we got chatting, and I said to him, yeah, I've picked the hobby back up again. And I showed him some of the videos on the channel, and he brought his young lad round there. He's got a 14-year-old lad, big shout going out to Elliot. And he said to me, he said, I've still got all my RC cars. He said, do you want them? And I said to him, well, yeah, silly question. Damn right I do. You know, so anyway, he come round last week and he brought round his old RC stuff. So we'll have a little look, see what we've got. So like I say, we had great fun with these monster trucks. First one is Polka's Mud Blaster. Original box art. Look at that. How cool is that? Shall we have a look inside? Let's see what we got in there. Here we go. Is that in focus? Is that in shot? Let's see what we got in here. Look at that. Original Mud Blaster body, complete with 1980s mud. How cool. It's obviously seen better days. It's got a lot of battle scars, but it's in one piece. Still looks good. Look at the carrot. I've got some memories with this. In fact, my Midnight Pumpkin's actually got some red marks from collisions with this car. So the first time these cars have been reunited in over 35 years. So yeah, there's the body. Don't look bad, to be honest. Don't look bad. It's all solid. Let's have a look inside the box. Here we go. We've got the chassis. Oh, look at that. This brings back some memories, this does. Obviously, it's going to need some work. It looks complete. It's got everything on there. Obviously, these cars suffered a lot with the rear gearboxes. Also, the early ones had problematic drive shafts with the hexagonal shafts that used to melt and grind away. So I'm sure they'll need sorting out. I'm sure the diff will need rebuilding. But other than that, it all looks there. He's obviously put CVA shocks on at some point. They're still nice and smooth. A lot of dirt on it, but it'll clean up. Like I say, manual speed control still. Missing the steering servo, but I can work with this. I can work with it. So we got the original instruction manual still there intact. Wheels and tyres are actually very good. There's no cracks. They're still soft as a baby's bum. Lovely. Tyres are still good, so they're salvageable. So yeah, we've got something to work with there. Who remembers these from back in the day? Most of the Tamiya kits used to come with blister packs. It's still got its original blister pack. Oh, I don't know what's in this. Let's have a look. Oh, look at that. That is a trip down memory lane, that is. Parma Cyclone 2 motor. There were stock motors, adjustable timing, fully rebuildable. Now, we used to run these in all of our monster trucks. In fact, I had one in my Midnight Pumpkin at one stage. I've no longer got it, so that's a bonus to get that. Price tag on that, £44.65 back in 1990, maybe, 1991. What else have we got in there? We've got the original headers from the bags. We've got them all there from the original screw bags. Servo saver kit, because they used to break at no end. Obviously the parts from the CVA shocks he's put on at a later date. We've got a spare parts tree there. Original CVA shock unit instructions. He obviously upgraded the fronts at some stage. We've got manual speed controller in there. We've got the servo. Oh, that's handy. So that'll be the servo for the steering. So that's all good. A few other bits and bobs. Oh, look at them. The original hex drive shafts. This was obviously a set is replaced at some stage, so I'm hoping the ones that are in it might be good then, because they're not going to be very easy to trace now to get hold of. Might have to go over to the universal joints they used on the re-releases, but I'd rather keep it original if I can. So yeah, that's the Mud Blaster. That's delightful. Now what I want to do with this car, I want to keep this as original as possible. At the end of the day, when you restore a car fully, you lose a lot of the character to it. You lose all the battle scars. You lose everything that makes up the car's persona. I don't want to do that with this car because I've got so many memories of us all racing these back in the day. I don't want to lose all that. So I'm going to give the chassis a good clean up. I'm going to strip the shocks and the gearbox, clean everything up, give it a service, potentially maybe fit an MIP ball diff because the diffs on these are absolutely useless at the best of times. Fit a 1060 hobby wing so I can get rid of the manual speed controller. Put a vintage period motor in. I was going to go with a Technigold, but if the dual cyclone works, I'm going to whack that in there because these used to work well. These were good motors back in the day. So yeah, bodywork wise, I'm going to do absolutely nothing with that. I'm going to leave the 1980s mud on it because I love the patina on that. It's got a few dents, it's got a few little scratches, it's got the war wounds. I want to keep that character to it. So we'll get the chassis running nice and we'll keep the soul of the car still intact. Because the problem is when you do a full restoration, like I say, you lose the car's personality. Now I have got a Mud Blaster that I restored a few years ago. It's a totally mint condition. This is my mint Mud Blaster. Now I've done this 3 or 4 years ago and this thing is absolutely spotless. There's not a mark on it. But like I say, when you do this level of restoration on a car, it's pretty much just becomes a new build. Yeah, it looks nice on the shelf, but you're never going to drive it, are you? And it's lost all its soul. So this one will stay on the shelf, and Polka's one will get rebuilt with the intention of running it in the same park and the same places we used to run it back in the day. So I'm going to give it a new lease of life, get her out again, and yeah, let's see what she's made of. So I'm going to try and do a little photo montage over the coming months as I do the rebuild, the strip down and the rebuild. Probably put it out as a little video showing it all getting stripped down and cleaned up, fitting a new diff, and of course hopefully put a video out of the first run as well. So that's the first car. Now we've got another one as well. He's also brought out his other one. So let's go and dig that out. Won't be a second. Right then, let's have a little look at Polka's second car. After a few years of us with our monster trucks, we eventually all got our second model. I got the 959, which turned out to be a bit of a disappointment in all honesty as a 11, 12-year-old, because it broke every time I took it out, especially after having the midnight pumping in beforehand, which you could do anything with. Dad's got the Terra Sculpture, which was a great little buggy. Polka got the Manta Ray. Now he got this just after it was initially released. We were all really surprised at how much of a good little buggy this was. Handled so well. It was as tough as anything. And obviously, as we know now, that platform went on to much bigger and better things in the form of the Top Force and the Top Force Evo, and obviously the touring cars that were derived from it at a later date. I personally think the Top Force Evo is probably my best handling Tamiya four-wheel drive buggy that I've got in the collection. So yeah, he got this just after it come out. So nice box art there. Box is still in pretty good condition. Let's have a look inside. Excuse me. Here we go. Original Manta Ray body. Looking pretty good still. A few little battle scars on it, but not bad. So you've got the wing there as well. Devilsome. Now, I never liked the look of this body shell back in the day, I've got to admit. But it's grown on me. I think, yeah, with time, it's aged like a fine wine. So we've got the body there. Let's have a look at the chassis. Once again, all looks intact. The diffs feel pretty good. The gearboxes feel good. Shocks are still very smooth. There's obviously plenty of oil in them still. Now on this we've got a vintage Futaba early electronic speed controller. So this is probably going to be around about 1990, 1991. Futaba 27 receiver. We've got the steering sail on it. The tyres are pretty bald. But don't look bad, in all honesty. Don't look bad. Let's have a look underneath. You've got a bit of road rash, but bearing in mind how hard we drove these cars, that's to be expected. So yeah, there's plenty of potential in this one. My plans of attack for this one, I'm going to try and do similar as I done with the, as I'm going to do with the Mud Blaster. I'm going to strip it all down, try and keep it as original as possible, clean it all up, service the gearboxes, service the shocks, put it all back together again. And with this one, I'm going to send it back to Polka. Because as I said earlier, he's got a 14-year-old lad, lovely kid. And when he come down to bring these cars down for me last week, Elliot said, have you got any cars running? Can we take some out? So naturally, I said, yeah, brilliant. So me, him and Polka went out on the playing field with the Holiday Buggy, the Monster Beetle, and the General Lee, and we had an absolute blast. And I think Elliot really enjoyed it. So I think it'd be nice, as I've got a Top Force and a Top Force Evo, I don't really need a Manta Ray. I think it'd be nice to get this one going for Elliot, his son, and hopefully introduce some new blood to the hobby. That's my plan of attack for this anyway. So let's have a look what else we've got in the box. Once again, there's the original instruction manual, still in good condition. There we go. We've got the original blister pack again. Let's see what goodies we've got inside here. So we've got a spare receiver. Got the smell of it. That still smells of, I think that's burnt out. I can still smell burnt servo there. I can still smell magic smoke in that. We've got the Futaba electronic speed controller box it originally come with. Once again, we've got all the headers in there for these screw bags, which is kind of cool. We all know that, don't we? Tamiya damper oil. Looks like one of the coat hanger prop shafts. That's obviously been replaced at some stage. Some vintage Tamiya paint. I wouldn't mind betting that that still works. That still feels quite liquidated. So, yeah, a little bit of silver spray. Obviously RC car racing finish. That's proper old school, isn't it? Indy silver. Probably nothing left in that, to be honest. So yeah, that's the Manta Ray. So I've got to admit, I did try and connect some power up to this one, and it is totally dead. I can't get any sign of life out of this car. It's got to be a fault either with the electronic speed controller or the power lead or the switch itself, but it's totally dead. So this is going to take some work. I've got a feeling this could be all new electronics in this one. The motor's fine, but yeah, we might have to put a new ESC in this, or even go back to the original manual speed control. Don't know about the servo. Receiver might be iffy as well, but we'll see. When we take it apart, we'll see, and I'm sure we'll get it back up and running again for his young lad. So anyway, that's that one. The Mud Blaster, on the other hand, this is the surprise. Where are we? This hasn't been fired up in 35 years. So I thought, that's not going to work. The diffs are going to be no good. The manual speed controller won't be any good. So we'll connect a battery up to it. And look at this. Delightful. So not only does the diff work, the motor works, even the manual speed control still works after all these years. Oh dear, that does smell of burning dust now though. So yeah, the Mud Blaster is alive. There's hope for this old girl yet. So anyway, on top of that, there's a third box to look at. Now we sent this round as well. 2 seconds, where are we? And this is all the extras. Let's see if we can get this in shot. Another box of tricks. I love going through all these old boxes. There we go. There we go, that's it. That'll do. So yeah. Original Futaba Attack R radio. This is the exact same set as I had for my Midnight Pumpkin, my first car. These are delightful, and these things go on forever. I can guarantee that'll work fine. Got an original instructions for the Attack R handset. Little box of tricks. Everyone's got one of these in the hobby. Got a spare resistor in there, some shock oil, various screws, grease. See, back in the day, they used to come in these little metallic tubes, proper metal tubes. There's some vintage Tamiya grease. Oh, that's switch lubricant, actually. A good old-fashioned box wrench. So, plenty of spares and bits and bobs in there, which is all good. They're going to be handy. Got the original charger from back in the day. There we go. Let's have a look in there. Sorry, text notification going off. See, that's old school, isn't it? This is what we used to do. You had trickle charge or fast charge. So you used to leave them on trickle charge all night for 12 hours. So you had a nice fresh battery in the morning. Then you'd have 3 or 4 batteries. And you'd run one out. You'd put it on a fast charge with the egg timer. Still working. After half an hour, that one was ready. While you're driving the other battery, you put the other one straight on charge, go out with this new one, and away you go. I mean, you don't see them anymore, do you? So that's the very original charger we had from back in the day. There we go. Another charger. Car battery charger that plugs into the cigarette lighter. That's quite handy. Some original racing packs. Rip Max Sanyos. 1400 milliamp SCRs. Superb, I remember these. Original Tamiya battery, I seem to remember. It's 1200 milliamp. We got another one there. Oh, I doubt they're any good now, but some vintage Tamiya grease. This is a blast from the past. Have a look at that. Who remembers those? I used to get subscriptions to these magazines, Radio Race Car and RC Model Cars, every year for Christmas, and they used to come through the post once a month. And if you were lucky, you'd get some free stickers, and these used to go on all our cars. So those will be getting used, 100%. So what else we got in there? There we go. Oh, look at this. Schumacher. Old vintage motor, my vintage brush motor. Schumacher Gold Nova. I seem to remember this being a 14-turn double, if my memory serves me correct. So I'll have to strip that down, clean up the commutator, grease up the bearings, and test that one out. That might even be able to be used in some speed runs next year. So there you go. That is Polka's little time capsule. So like I say, there'll be some following videos coming up soon, little photo montages as I strip the cars down, and yeah, hopefully some first runs, and we'll also get Polka's Manta Ray back to his son once it's all completed, and try and bring some new blood into the hobby. So anyway, guys and girls, thanks for watching. I'll see you all again soon. Green Hawks RC, signing out.